Well, what's going on, Zoms? We're hanging in there for today. 5:30 in the evening, West Coast time. Still the 15th of October, 2025 for a Wednesday. And Trump's been making his news. He's still vowing to send more and more troops into cities. My question is, where the hell is he going to get all this damn people here? I wonder. I don't know. At times, I was a big fan of the court systems. Maybe they were so impartial that we would have fairness across the lands, but apparently over the 4, 5 decades we've had of our current court system, it's a different story altogether. Because when you load up a court system with a lot of conservatives who are more interested in about the bottom line, about the money that they would get one way or another, about the favoritism that they would be so influenced by a lot of gifts and favors that the courts seem to be biased. The lower courts not as much, but the Supreme Court of the United States, we always kept hoping that it would be totally unbiased. Not so much. Because the rulings we're seeing these days are getting torn apart left and right from our freedoms, our liberties, our very way of life that we've held on to. People apparently are forcing the courts or controlling or enticing the courts to see things their way. Liberals are so wrong, they're so evil, and therefore must be destroyed one way or another. And that freedom and liberty no longer matters. And that's how we're seeing it now. That's what's being displayed. That's what's being told to others, that freedom and liberty doesn't mean anything. Only money and power and wealth. As long as you can manipulate the courts, they'll say whatever they want or whatever the money's going. And we're having that within the last 40 years. Women's rights gone. Freedom of speech torn apart. Due process. Habeas corpus. Voting rights. We have voting rights right now. Case heard today. There was an argument made in the listings. Yeah, that's my dog. She wants. No, the case was Case versus Montana. I hadn't listened to it. I don't even have the PDF transcript for this. I wish I had, because I would want to see what they would have, but they don't have anything loaded up for it. They got it put into the computer system. It's just the headline of it, but this is the one that deals with Voting Rights Acts. There's a section in there that's dealing with is it fair or not to segregate in your voting. If you got enough districts concerning about one particular color, race, or creed, well, is it right and legal to segregate them or tear them apart so the other party can have more power? We have 6 conservatives, 3 liberals on the bench. And their word will be the law of the land at this point. The thing about Supreme Court is they do reviews on cases whether or not it's against the Constitution or not, theoretically. And if they happen to rule, they can overcome laws that are already made, including whether or not it's legal to put more troops in the ground and have them more rest packets. They're getting harder, worse in different cities and streets. Chicago's saying it. Just come up right to a damn school and hijack a couple of parents. Hijack them and hours later release them, but right in front of kids. We're teaching our folks, we're teaching young and old how to fear law enforcement now. What was supposed to be serve and protect, it's now protecting and serve in reverse order of those who have the power and the money. And you're just nothing. Our leaders who are in opposition of the Trumplicans, of the Trump administration, don't want a violent protest. They don't want a response, despite the fact that we've got the Trumplicans doing this, forcing it. They want, wholeheartedly, to prove that they are mightier than anybody else, and therefore they're going to scare the crap out of people to get to what they want. And we have to allow it. Go right into your cars, right into your homes, right into your businesses. If you're white, you may have a chance to get past them. I'm still expecting it that they're going to be doing it to everybody, including whites, because mostly they've been doing it to anybody who's not white or had an accent that they didn't like. And we have turned into a fascist state. We have turned into a fascist regime. We've had in our past, in our bloody past, in our bloody history, fighting back using weapons, using blood. Blood against blood. We don't want to piss off the government, our leader said, but we'll fight back protesting. This weekend coming up is supposed to be the time where we can fight back against everybody. We call it No King's Day. We try to say no in a collective manner in every street corner. Try to say no to fascism. My question, are we able to do it? Are we going to have the military, the National Guard, even the regular military come after people left and right? Because that's what it's going to be taken to dismantle these things left and right. The police aren't going to do anything. The police have already been aware of it. As long as the protests are peaceful enough, they shouldn't do anything. And even if the Trumplican army says do something and just beat people up, the thing of it is we have to keep proving that we can take it. But just how far and how long is the bullies are going to do this without us saying enough's enough and then busting them in the nose? That's what Trump wants. He wants to cast confusion. Stephen Miller wants to cast confusion. Hegseth wanted cooperation from the reporters. Reporters flipped them off. So now we don't have an official voice except for the Trumplican voice. We don't have an independent verification of what's going on in the Pentagon. None. We have the word of the Trump in the form of Hegseth. Bondi's out there looking to prosecute people left and right. Noem wants to arrest people left and right and show how pretty she is. Levitt at the podium of the press corps. It's no longer a press corps. Because I doubt they've got any integrity left. But if they do, they're going to have to keep Leavitt and the White House on edge. I'm waiting for the removal of that. No, you don't. You don't want to go crazy, go crazy. I'll try looping out of my damn arms. That's all I need. Because I'm not playing with her. If I want to look at it as tyranny with one dog versus the tyranny of the Trumps, which one do you think has the more direct influence? And which one has more direct influence? She's got no money. She's got no power. She's got the wine. But that's what I've been hearing from the Trumplicans. And as long as we're not obeying it, it's louder and forceful. That's what we're dealing with right now. So now what do we deal with it? How do we deal with it? I don't know. How are we supposed to deal with it? I don't know. I could say the wrong things. I can honestly say the wrong things at this point. I can make a case against everything that the religious faithful, our leaders in both local up to the states would say. And give them what they want. And this is what we're dealing with right now. We're dealing with people who are so screwed up in the head, it's not even funny. They want the anger. They want the frustration. They want everybody else to be just like them. They want the country to be just like that. They want the country to be in chaos and ruins because this is how they control it, with fear and guns. And a bitch of it is if people actually say no, they don't like that. So they'll beat them up. If Gandhi was here making his case about how people are supposed to be handling this stuff, if Gandhi actually was alive, or his ancestors, his future generations were here, and they would see this, if we actually had like a Gandhi figure in this country, there's no way a hunger strike would ever solve our issues. If Christ was here, would he have a problem with us? Yep. People have been trying to act as if they're holy and religious and faithful and condemn everybody to death or condemn everybody to hell. And they would be the only holy ones left. I don't know what the answer is, except to keep saying no. Except to say no. They want fear and hatred. They want anger. They want retribution for crimes that we don't even know what the hell they did. For insults done that they felt like they had been insulted with or assaulted by. So we have to, what? Say I'm sorry all the damn time? That's not what. That's not enough. I want more. What scares the hell out of me is when these youth want to be just like Hitler. They seen, they read, they had not experienced. Or they felt they have experienced, they hadn't experienced. There were reasons why we had Museum of Tolerances built and spread about to remind people of what exactly they're marching people into, and they think it's funny. I would remind these people that at the end of World War II in Germany, we actually had the Nuremberg trials. Whoever we found that were leaders or followers of the horrific Holocaust, they were judged. They were put through trials. They had defense attorneys. If they were found guilty, they were judged. If they weren't, well, public opinion would have a way with them. And devastation all around. War crimes. People had tried to follow all those people who followed Nazism. Problem is, in America, it is allowed to a point for freedom of speech that they can yell and scream their heads off. But it's usually up to the locals whether or not, where, and when. Oh, we have the right to. We have a right to disassemble. We have a right to yell and scream at each other, our own damn opinions at each other. We're given a right of freedom of speech, but it's only so long and so much length on that one. Meaning I can't go into a person's house and just yell and scream and just tell them that they suck, they're wrong, they're evil, they're everything else, and just stand right there and yell and scream at them. If I can do that in public, that's one thing. But in private, can't do that. Not legal. On public property, you have that right. But in private, nope. But this is what the kind of thing we're facing right now from an administration who wants to do just that. And I'm going to tell people that hate the other person because they're different. They're not the same. Doesn't matter what kind of material we got out there. They call it liberals and wokeism, and it should be destroyed. Wait for it. Book burnings. Take DVDs and burn the living crap out of them. We'll take old recordings and thrash them. We'll take the internet and scour every damn deism we've got in there. Every damn liberal wokeism crap that they're looking for. Any DEI is gone. We have to have the same. You'll hear a national party music going on left and right. Russia's the same damn way. When they were building up the USSR, they were the same damn way. And they still are. We want our fearless leaders to have their images shown. We want to have people who are doing cruelty to have spotlight. Anybody who's doing peace and freedom, buried alive like the worms they are. We're going to constantly say that and constantly berate. And we're going to convince our young generation even worse. We're going to do a Hitler Youth thing. I'm waiting for that to happen. I'm waiting for that shit to happen in my own damn backyard. Outside my front door. I'm waiting for people to come by in their lovely Nazi uniforms, or the Trumplican uniforms they'll be having. They'll be equivalent to the Nazism. And yell and scream at people. You can't touch me. I'm part of the regime. You touch me and you die. But I got the power and authority over you. And what did our fearless leaders keep telling us? We have to keep it together. The Trump party wants our corks blown. He wants the revolution. He wants the bloodshed. He wants the violence. He's pushing on us so damn hard to make his regime feel safe and secure because they're fighting against an enemy. I can't stand it if some guy keeps saying, no, you can't do this. Shut up. Ah! And just kick people left and right. I'm a Christian nationalist. A Christian nationalist. I believe in Christianity. I believe in the church. Therefore, the church has condemned you to death. Ah! It's like dealing with the Spanish Inquisition a hell of a long while ago. Anybody happen to remember that kind of portion of history either? Convert to Catholicism or else you die. Convert to Trumpism and away from the deism and liberalism, otherwise you die. But there had been no fighting back because you couldn't fight against the priests, right? Or anybody else with a pointed sword. It took us centuries to get past this shit. We really hadn't gone past this shit. We've got it now in the modern age. Now we've got the court systems. They'll judge you automatically. You have no due process. And it's so damn hard to say no. Because if we happen to say no, we're dead and buried. At least they get the sleep of the dead. They get the peace of the dead. At least they can rest happily. And the earth gets to be walked upon and torn apart by those who think they've got the power. Eventually it's going to be used against them, but they're going to be doing a 1984 on everybody these days. Brainwash everybody. History revised into the way of the Trump. Of the Stephen Millers and everything. Am I angry? Am I frustrated? Am I going crazy over this one? I feel the pressure. I feel I want to overreact. I feel like I want to yell and scream and tell people to do that. I am conflicted by my faith. I am conflicted by everything around me. Part of me had grown up to be a rebel rouser who said no to kings and tyrants and big bullies. They get beaten up and bloodied like crazy, but at least I had still the power to say, fuck you. I am dependent upon the kindness of strangers. I'm also dependent upon the power of billionaires and those who have the money. And those who are able to call down the Roman Empire on people. I felt like we still needed to do a war on people. Because that's what they wanted. Here's the thing. Well, here's the question. If they did get what they wanted, if they really did get the violence that they craved, would they be demanding more of thermonuclear detonation on them? Let's just say if it goes from one particular little incident where we said no and the other guy's bleeding because they said I'm a Trump or a Trumplican or Christian nationalist. Just how far are they willing to drink in the blood and the violence and of being a warmonger? To the point where they want to get rid of their enemies with weapons worse than lead going into people's body or knives. Would they really want us to tear each other apart? I mean, really have it worse than what the 1860 was all about? Do we really want to have the chaos and confusion? No matter how many times I'm listening to the news media trying to show us what we're doing, what's happening right now. Are we willing to go thermonuclear? We're losing health. We're losing life. We're losing the ability to breathe, food, drink, life support. Because we have the greed and ego ruining things. Sometimes I wonder when saying no is enough. But does the other side really that thick-headed that they really want a population down their throat? Do they really want the bloodshed? And understanding what the hell happened in 1860, because apparently we're all dumb and getting dumber. Because in 1860, despite whatever kind of differences we've had against each other, we tore our country apart. For other items that we valued, for people's lives, didn't matter who and what color and creed they are and what religion. Doesn't matter if it's economic security or economic domination, didn't matter. We picked up the gun and we fired. And we got the battlefields and the bones to prove it, and the cemeteries. We wanted to say no to kings who ruled across vast distances of water because they still had the military sway to govern a colony. We said no. We had to borrow someone else's army to help us fight off the British. But we said no, and somebody fired a shot until no became bloody. We became bloody. We had people who had power, who had money, who had influence, who had ego. They told us to go fuck off. We sent them a Declaration of Independence. We sent them a letter of our grievances. And we had to throw our bodies into it. We have gravestones. We have more monuments to the decision. We have paperwork to back it up. Are we there yet? A kid in a car yelling and screaming to his parents because he's bored to death because of a short trip or a long trip, doesn't matter. He's bored. Are we there yet? You really want to see it? You really want to go through it? Well, I'm bored. This is just boring. I want. Yeah, you want it, right? I got a dog who wants. Dog wants attention all the time. I can't cook enough, or actually fast enough for this dog's attention. All she wants to do is be held and loved. And she will yell and scream and get my attention one way or another. She means well, but her ailments are suffering through being blind to everything, being deaf to everything, senses and nose going out, and she's old and can't remember shit. But she knows I'm here. Can I equate that with what's going on, guys? And she will wander around, try to find my scent, and still call out for me. If I don't respond to her fast enough, she gets louder and louder. So how do I deal with her versus how do I deal with the other one?